In the small town of Lititz, Pennsylvania, life moved quietly, almost predictably. Among its residents was Brenda Heist, a kind and intelligent woman known for her gentle nature and dedication to her 2 children. She was going through a difficult divorce, but to everyone around her, Brenda was still the type of person who would never abandon her family, no matter how hard things got. On the morning of February 8th, 2002, Brenda dropped her children off at school like she had done countless times before. At her home, laundry was left halfway done, food sat defrosting in the kitchen, and her car remained parked outside. Everything suggested she would return within the hour, but Brenda never came back. Panic spread quickly. Friends and family immediately raised the alarm, knowing something was terribly wrong. Investigators combed the town, searched parks and hospitals, and interviewed anyone who might have seen her. Yet Brenda had simply vanished. As the days turned into weeks, suspicions began to mount. Her husband Lee was questioned extensively, becoming the prime suspect by default. But there was no evidence tying him to her disappearance. Despite every effort, the police couldn't uncover a single clue. The community was shaken. A devoted mother, gone without a trace. No note, no warning, no answers. For her children, the pain was immeasurable. They were left to grow up with a haunting question: what had happened to their mother? Years passed, but the mystery endured. Rumors circulated, alleged sightings were reported, but each lead collapsed into nothing. Finally, in 2010, after 8 long years of silence, a judge declared Brenda legally dead. It seemed her story had ended in tragedy, another disappearance without resolution. Or so it appeared. But Brenda Heist was not dead. She had not been abducted, nor was she buried in an unmarked grave. 11 years after vanishing, in 2013, she suddenly reappeared, alive, in Florida. The revelation stunned everyone. Brenda had walked into a sheriff's office in Key Largo and confessed her true identity. She explained that back in 2002, overwhelmed by the weight of her divorce, financial struggles, and rejection from a housing assistance program, she had broken down, crying in a park. In that moment of despair, 3 strangers approached her, 2 women and a man. They were traveling to Florida, and in a decision that would change her life forever, Brenda decided to leave everything behind and go with them. For the next decade, she lived as a drifter. She slept under bridges, in tents, and on the streets. She scavenged for food, begged for help, and worked odd jobs without documentation. Later, she lived under a false identity, Kelsey Smith. Hers was not the life of someone who had found freedom, but of someone trapped in survival. When she finally came forward, detectives described her as deeply ashamed and regretful. Her husband, Lee, who had endured years of suspicion, was vindicated but devastated. By then, he had moved on, even declaring her dead to provide closure for their children. For those children, now adults, Brenda's return was not a joyful reunion. Her daughter admitted feeling anger and distance, unable to simply welcome her back after years of abandonment. Legally, Brenda faced consequences. She was arrested for violating probation and for using false identities during her years away. After serving a short sentence, she moved to Texas with her mother, trying to rebuild some semblance of a life, though the scars of her choices lingered. The case of Brenda Heist is not just the story of a disappearance. It is the story of a mother who walked away from everything she knew, and the family was left to pick up the pieces. For years, they thought she had been taken, even killed. But the truth was something far more complicated, a reminder that sometimes the mysteries we fear most are not about monsters in the shadows, but about the secrets carried within the human heart. So, what do you think drove Brenda to walk away that day? And could you ever forgive such a choice? Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more true stories that echo through time.